Welcome to the RV Pro Talk podcast, hosted by Keith Shoemaker, co-owner of Redlands Truck and RV, and Brad Kilgore, owner of Custom Shops Marketing. We created the show to connect the RV repair world, provide trusted resources, whether you're just starting your RV repair shop or you've been at it for decades. Hopefully you enjoy it, and we're here to help. All right. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Brad Kilgore here with Custom Shops Marketing, and I'm here with Keith Shoemaker from Redlands Truck and RV. It's the RV Pro Talk podcast, and where we do everything we can to give you insight, tips, and ideas of things to do to make your shop better. How's it going today, Keith?
Real good, man. Thanks for having me.
Good. Well, Keith is in sunny California. Even though my background looks like it's sunny here, it's 2 feet going on 3 feet of snow in the mountains of Colorado. So it'll be definitely some shoveling happening today. But today we wanted to dig in and put out some ideas of real life stuff. I mean, running an RV service center or repair shop is not for the timid. I mean, it's a big responsibility to run a shop and to run one successfully for 50 some years that Keith and his sister have done. And today, so we're going to dig in a little bit deeper onto some real relevant information when it comes to employees, hiring, benefits, issues that come up, and streamlining operations, some of those things. And it's just all important that a lot of times we don't know necessarily what to do. And so I'm gonna kind of turn it over to Keith and get some feedback on some of these subjects from Keith.
No, I think you hit it exactly. We don't know what to do at every step, and some of us either don't do it at all, or some of us probably do way too much and maybe get accused of micromanaging or such. My personal style has rested somewhere in between, and I feel like I need to know what the circumstances and situation is of what we're addressing or dealing with, making sure that I know both sides of both stories and ask questions, and then come up with a formulation on my own, or make a good significant suggestion to my team. And I have realized that over the years, it's my team's, Karen and I have realized it's our team's responsibility to deal with the dailies, which is what, our requirement of them, to do as managers. And we feel for the most part that we do a pretty good job at it. But we we can always be better, especially I think in this really important area. Thank you for letting me make that long statement.
Absolutely. And I know you guys have a pretty big operation. You have 20 plus employees, and with that comes personalities and all the other things that come along with dealing with humans. Sometimes there's drama, sometimes people have a good day or a bad day. Maybe shed some light on how you deal with some of those things on a consistent basis.
Yeah. And you know what? Honestly, if someone's having a bad day, it's probably not because we caused it. If we're thinking they're having a bad day, it's probably because we haven't communicated with them enough. And I've realized that's something very recently. Karen and I both realized that's something that we just need to take on a different way, a fresh approach, and take on that it's more important to maximize our communication with our employees. And there's I'm not good at it, and that's why I have other people do it. I've actually I'll leave it. I'm not good at that kind of thing. However, I'm good at knowing what I want to communicate to our technicians, and our employees You know, we have some non-technician stuff that goes on, and I want them to participate in their own success, you know. Um, if it's a quick conversation, I'll say to them, hey, you know, we have a profit sharing program. We have a 401k, and there's a section of it that if you put in if you put in money, I have to match it. So let's pretend that you don't like me. If it were me, I would put in as much money as possible so that my nasty boss would have to pay more money out of his pocket to match my 401k. I don't think that's the case with our people, but I know that we have other alternatives and opportunities for them to be able to for us to be able to express our appreciation for what they do for us on a regular basis. And yep, dealing with the public is difficult, but you know, our technicians technically don't really get into that. Maybe once in a while we bring him in and have him talk to the customer, but most of the time it's the service advisors that are doing the direct communication.
Right. Well, I think that that's probably the best way to do it. You know, because you have the service advisors and the managers that is more their forte or their superpower to be able to deal with customers.
But you know what? Take this. I hope the shops listen to this one. I have learned in the past the best way to get new customers and to sell, however you want to call it, sell more product, make more money, be more profitable. The best way to make more, to build more customers and be more profitable is from your existing clientele. So we've done, we just did two significant things at our shop, and I'm embarrassed that we haven't been doing this before. We trained our house guys that do, you know, microwaves and shades and inside the RV stuff. We've brought them on board with the chassis stuff. You know, there's a new shock absorber for the Ford chassis. There's a new shock absorber for the Freightliner chassis. Well, these are two of the most popular RV chassis in the market today. And my house guys, we didn't spend any time with them 6 months ago explaining to them that there's a new shock available. Well, at our shop, the house guys are inside the coach. Guess who else is in there with them?
Yeah.
The customer,
Yeah.
bugging the heck out of them. What we're doing is we're having our coach guys say, hey, do you know there's a new set of shocks available for your coach? Hey, did you know that you can do a radius rod kit on this Ford chassis? And it's not your shocks are bad and they have to be replaced and panic and 911 and you're going to die. It's not that at all. It's like, hey, we're experts on what your coach needs and takes. And what about this wonderful recommendation coming from someone that you wouldn't normally expect? And that is a mechanic.
That's right.
When a mechanic, when you can connect a customer and mechanic successfully, that customer will take that recommendation every single time and purchase it.
Perfect sense.
Much more than coming from the service advisor, the general manager, the owner.
Yeah.
The owner, you know, when it comes from a mechanic, a technician, a service person, someone that's on the front line, bam, yeah, I want those 4 shocks. I want what that guy said. That girl told me. That's what I want. I want those batteries. I want that new inverter. And you know, problem solved, game over, and it went from a need to a want and whammo. Now they've walked their happy legs back to the service desk and said, hey, the one kid with the thing in his ear and the deal in his nose, he told me to buy a thing and to do it. I want that. And whammo, it's sold and it works.
That's cool because, you know, they know, just like, you know, me when I've been in my coach, when you're there on the ground with a mechanic and they're doing something on your coach, like you say, that trust factor is there. This is the guy, the kid, the technician that's in the grease, that's looking at the underneath and the top and the bottom and telling you.
And I hope that our shops are using in an inspection. I showed you our little wacky one. We just realized honestly 2 days ago that we needed to completely refresh our courtesy visual inspection, and that is one that should be in my mind, which I've told my team, hey, I want this done within 10. I want this thing to take no more than 5-10 minutes to do. Does not require us to do any removals or testing, diagnosis or anything. Can be done quickly. It can be done visually. We can see what we're talking about and we get to document it. And more importantly, I want that shared with my customer within 60 minutes of this coach RV arriving and this inspection being performed.
Right.
The dirty truth for us, we were doing the inspection near the end of the life cycle of the work order. The customer had been with us a week or two. We did a bunch of work to their coach. Hey, Mrs. Davis is on her way. Oh, shoot. Let's check these things on this list and make sure it's okay. Well, Mrs. Davis is there and we're telling her, hey, you know what? You need wiper blades. They're cracked. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me 2 weeks ago? So that's why I changed our inspection. I'm tired of us telling someone that you need something when they're there to pick up their coach.
Right. At the end of the journey.
And if you do it ahead of, in my mind, if I can share my inspection results with the customer via a scan or a digital document, which Brad's gonna, I'm sure, will help us with, then they can have that and they can see it. And at the bottom of it, I've got 12 products that I say our customers love, which they do, and it's customer recommended products. And here they are. And they're intended to increase your enjoyment. We're being honest. And some of them are there for your safety plus, you name it. The 12 products, radius rod, everything that we're doing for RVs are all listed there.
Right.
But above that on the inspection are some very important items. What are their tire dates? If I let a coach go out of our shop that has tires that are dated, more than 8 or 9 or 10 years, and something happens, I feel that I probably are going to be brought up and said, hey, why didn't you tell this customer? So it's really easy. Just write down that's why we're doing this inspection. Just write down the dates of the tires and share it with them. And if you see, as a technician, if you see something on that tire that you don't like, a crack, a chunk, a wear pattern, a flat spot, then say that there's something wrong with the tire. Say that it needs attention. It's that simple. And we've done 12 of those items that are, non-threatening, non-sales. We're not saying you have to do this in order for you to take your coach out of my shop. We're just sharing information with them. Hey, we feel that your fire extinguisher needs attention because it's dated 2007 and we shook it and it goes kunk, 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 kunk. We know that it's no longer a fire extinguisher. We can see that your propane detector is original from 2008 and, it's 7 or 8 or 9 years out of its date. We just want to share that with you. We're not saying that you have to do this, but we want to empower you with the information that you need in order to make a conscious decision about doing something to your coach. Do we want you as a customer to say, yeah, replace that stuff? Absolutely. And I've got it in stock and I'm ready to install it and I'll give you a heck of a deal. So right. Sorry for the passion, but this is what the customer first sees, and here, our old inspection was, I will be honest, I didn't write it. It was a pocket digger. It was like, hey, is your steering off? We asked a couple leading questions. And I thought, no way, man. We're not doing that. We're going to give them strong information about their coach that they need to know every time they go out on a trip. If you go out on a trip 3 times a week, you need to know this information before you go. Do you need to bring it into me? No, but here's 12 things that you need to make sure that you're doing before you take off, or that you're educated on before you put your vehicle on the road with the rest of us. And I feel comfortable with it.
I think you hit the nail on the head, is empowering people with information, because
Yep.
at the end of the day, looking at my situation, I was full time for 3.5 years in my coach. I'm not a mechanical person. I am not somebody that's a DIYer. These are not things that I understand necessarily, but I have a high-end coach that has a lot of moving parts. And so if
Mm-hmm.
I'm empowered with information, and then I then know, hey, my tires are getting towards the end of their life. Sure, I could try to ride it out and save some money, but I'm
Yep.
putting everybody at risk.
It,
Oh,
and this is what everybody asks on tires. Like, hey, my guy says 6 years. Okay. Wow. Uh, the truth is, on motorhome tires that are we call them tier one, a Michelin, a Goodyear, a Continental, a Hankook, and a handful of other good manufacturers that I didn't mention here because my brain can't remember everything. Typically, we feel, and I believe FMCA, the group and organization, feels that your tires are good for around 8 years old, 8 years. What we suggest is you start searching for tires between year 6 and year 8. And maybe at year 7, you rest and reside on, a good place for you to do your tires, whether you're selecting price or you want nitrogen and dually valves or spin balance or an alignment or, whatever other things you want done with your tires. We want to empower you with that information so you can make those choices. And sorry for the long explanation, but it's probably my number one question at Quartzsite when I'm standing on the tire and they say, how long are these good for? And I'm honest. Here's the other side of that story is in the Michelin book or online, their guarantee against workmanship failure is 10 years. So if you had to say to someone, hey, how long is this tire guaranteed for? Technically, it's 10 years. Should you run an RV tire 10 years? In our opinion, absolutely not. Is there a bunch of other opinions for it? Sure. Do they rest somewhere between 6 and 8 years? I believe so. That's my opinion. If this invokes controversy, it's probably good controversy so that you have an opportunity to talk to your tire customer. If you're an RV shop and you're not doing tires because you don't want to, I would strongly consider it.
yeah.
We use a robo machine from Hunter. Not that we get to press and play and walk away and come back after lunch and everything's done. Absolutely not. But it makes we're not swinging a hammer.
Right.
And we're not, which is good because RV customers hate it when you're swinging a hammer on their aluminum wheel.
Oh, yeah.
The guys that swing a hammer on an aluminum wheel, I'm 100% that I know and that we have used in the past. I'm completely 100% confident in their ability, but they don't work for us full time. And our guys at the shop, they have other duties too. Yes, we can do tires, but they're also doing some brakes and other things. And we have the machine from Hunter that makes it much safer, much easier, and it's impressive to watch. Protects the rim completely. Saves us from dealing with a scratched wheel, that kind of thing.
Much more effective. Yeah.
Sorry for my tire. I love tires.
I love the passion, Keith. I mean, that's the reality of talking to you, is you've been around this your
and,
whole life and you love it.
and you high-end shop guys, seriously, find some medical nitrogen. It's called pure nitrogen, and you'll have a supplier in your area, I hope, and they will be supplying the hospital with pure nitrogen for all the reasons that they do, or other places that they do, medical centers, blah 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 blah, military, yeah. But you'll find this giant bottle of 3,000 psi liquid nitrogen, and you'll be able to do all your tires. You'll set yourself instantly apart from any other shop within 100 miles of you, just because you're a purist. and you have selected that you want to use nitrogen on your tires for your customers. Okay, it's a bunch of baloney. Here's the con. The nitrogen, a bunch of it doesn't work. Crap. Da 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 da. Well, hold on a minute. This 305 that I'm putting 8 of these 305s on your coach are about $900 each. So we're talking a $10,000 job here by the time we're doing parts and labor and tires with this guy's coach. You want me to fill it with oil and water that's in my compressor out back? As a $10,000 tire guy, I'm like, no way, man. I'm going an hour and a half out of my way because this dude uses pure nitrogen. He uses dually valves. They know what they're doing. They have fresh tires. They use a machine. They don't scratch my wheel. They understand the process of it. They know that's going to take all day long to do 8 or 6 tires on a motorhome to do it correctly, and to go test drive it afterwards and make sure there's no vibrations and that the hubcaps didn't fall off and you got all the wheel covers back on. It's a lot of moving parts here. But I got to tell you, when you've removed that wheel and that tire from that coach, you get to see shock absorbers, you get to see brakes, you get to see coolant leaks, you get to see this body brace that's broken, you get to see that thing, you get and tires are a wonderful thing for a shop. I'm just saying, but you got to do it right, and you got to be a pro at it, and you can't be filling them with the junk that's in your compressor. When's the last time you drained your compressor? Go drain it.
Yeah.
Shut it off and get some air in it. Go drain it and look at all the goo, the rust, the gunk that comes out of this thing. You're putting that in your tools, and you're putting it in the customer's tires, whether it's an automobile tire, a Jeep tire, a commercial truck tire, or an RV tire. It should be and it doesn't matter who's manufacturer, whether it's Double Coin or it's Michelin. They will tell you specifically that they don't want you to contaminate the inside of their tire. So you need to fill it with something that's not contaminated.
Fine.
And all of our shop compressors, I'm guaranteeing, are pumping water, and at the very least, they're pumping just water. But most of them are pumping oil and rust and other stuff into our tires. Sorry.
No, I think it's a huge factor. These are safety issues for people.
But done correctly and shared correctly with the customer, it's a wonderful opportunity. The customer is going to be like, and the DIY customer, the mechanical customer, and the non-mechanical customer is going to appreciate your candor, your honesty, and your ability to share with them the honest truth. Because really, they feel like, well, why do I have to spend $800 on a tire? Why can't I go get a $400 Double Coin? What can someone tell me the truth there? And you better be ready to talk to your customer about a tier 3 tire, Double Coin, Samsung, or whatever the others. We call them offshore tires. Are we mad at them? No. They have a good place in our industry, and it's probably in the commercial sector, and it's probably on a trailer. In our opinion, those kinds of tires have no place on a motorhome with our loved ones inside. Anyway, you need to be able to talk to your customer about that. And you need to say, hey, man, I care more about you than putting this tire on. Because if you say, hey, put this offshore tire on and it lasts 3.5 years, you've done a real disservice to the customer. Is that offshore tire going to last 3.5 years? No, that's my opinion. But I'm telling you, if you're working on a motorhome with humans inside and pets and kids, grandkids, whatever, you better be up there on the quality of what you're installing on that coach for things like tires, batteries, and other similar components.
Right.
Sorry.
It's hugely important.
I'm all fired up today.
That's right. No, this is all good stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, man, I mean, you're passionate about it because the people that are in there, they're precious cargo. And it doesn't make sense to shortcut this kind of stuff.
Here, and the other thing about it is that when we see a customer come in and tell us nah, I don't want to do this, or that here. Well, here's the full story. When we don't do our job up front and qualifying the customer over the phone, and they come in with a 1990 something or other, and they don't want to fix this and they don't want to fix that and such and such and such and such, you need to really feel comfortable saying, hey man, this isn't something if you're not going to do your brakes or your pitman arm or the drag link or something that's falling off or totally worn out, I can't touch this, coach. I don't want to put tires on it. I don't want to put Michelin tires. I don't want to be the last guy to touch this thing. So
Right.
unfortunately, you'll have to move on. Those are the kinds of conversations that we don't like having inside of our shop, especially when it comes to tires and that sort of thing, because then we become, I kind of feel like we become resentful. And in the worst case, we become a little bit of a bully and saying, hey, you have to do this in order for you to remove this coach from my shop. And I can't say that happens, but I know that if we have situations in our coach where things don't want to get repaired, it requires lots and lots of explanation with that customer. And like I try to tell my guys, that's not our customer, man. Why did we say yes?
Right.
You guys know better than that.
Yeah.
19 and honestly, it's getting to 2000. What year's your coach? 2001. We can't find parts for them. Hey, my 2017. I've got a 2017 dually. I had a panic stop. As soon as I hit a panic stop, I'll blame someone pulling in front of me. It's my own inattention. Panic stop. Boom. Airbag light on, control this warning, that warning. None of my stuff works anymore. My key fob, my CarPlay, everything important to me quits working. I take it to the dealer. The guy says, you have a corroded connector that's no longer available.
Mm-hmm.
And we cannot wire around it. But my technician can show you how to do it.
Right.
It's a 2017 and the parts are already obsolete.
Yeah.
They can't buy the connector.
Right.
And it's not that it's out of stock, it's no longer made. And I'm like, wow. So, here we are accepting coaches from 2000, 2001. And we recently had a conversation about it, and we have to spend more time qualifying that customer with their coach before they come in.
Yeah. I mean, for me, all the years I've been on the road in the RV, it's amazing to me to see what people are driving. To say, wow, you've got your family in that thing, and that thing is a beater from the 70s or 80s even.
Yeah, and well, here I get, yep, but I guess the coach I drive that I just took my kids camping, or we went camping with our grandkids locally, '01 Winnebago Adventurer. So I'm right there. And I know that when something doesn't work, like the water heater didn't work this weekend until I messed with it, I know that I'm on my own. I know that I've got to figure this stuff out, and if it requires a workaround, it's going to be my responsibility. Just because it's the age of the coach. Now, if it's an 07, 08, 09, hey man, that's our customer, and they should expect this stuff to still be available, and they should expect us to be pleasant and share with them the benefits of a quiet and smooth ride from the new larger diameter Coney shock. To getting rid of their steering problem with the radius rod kit. Then it becomes an opportunity. It's a wonderful experience, and you're just sharing information with your friend, your customer.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Perfect sense. Well, I think that we've kind of laid it out there. We've covered quite a few things as far as employees, shop stuff, the parts and safety. I mean, we've covered a lot in a short period of time. And
yeah, hopefully everybody figures out. Don't do what I do. If you see me doing something, do the opposite, and you'll be okay.
Well, you've got a lot of real life experience, and I think that that's the name of the game. So
hey, I have to look at it all the time. I've been doing this since I was 8 years old, and I just turned 60 on Monday. So
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
I get it. And Karen and I and our older sister Kathy, we would be at the dinner table listening to mom and dad complain about so and so customer that made them replace a tire because, you know, whatever. And it was a huge ordeal that we had. It was $89 that we had to put on this van for the plumbing company. And you know, we every night we listened to that stuff, or which employee was giving him the most grief, or what the landlord said. You know, shoot, my mom, our first shop was we rented, and the last 2 or 3 years they were month to month rent. Imagine that, owning a business ongoing and knowing that the landlord could come in tomorrow and say, hey, pack up your stuff, get out of here. And on that site today is a massive Lowe's uh, home center. So, you
Yeah.
know, whatever that was 25 or 30 years ago, whenever we moved out of there, you know,
Right.
you need to be prepared, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reality of it. I mean, it's a big responsibility, and a lot of things come with all the things that you do.
Don't micromanage. Get good people, trust them, and communicate with them the way that you want them to communicate with the rest of the group.
Exactly.
The all the problems at my shop, I know where they came from. So when I'm mad and I'm doing and saying things that I shouldn't say at my shop after a problem or a situation, I really honestly the first thing I do is I look in the mirror, or I see myself looking in the mirror going, hey dude, you're the one that started this, you know, 30, 40, 50 years ago, or it, allowed it to continue. You know, our parents deserve all the credit here for making our success available for Karen and I and the people that work for us. But I realize it's me, and we had a product incident recently, and the first thing that got shared to me about this product incident was it's his fault. He did it. And I said, "Whoa. No. Let's find out what really happened here." And this self-discovery, this refusal for me to believe that it's somebody else's fault led me to discovering a bunch of wonderful things and opportunities about our business.
Sure.
And we're instantly started on that, and we are 3/4 of the way of making a huge change. And it's inspections, it's how we're reviewing our dealing with the employee, you know, the evaluation, and what we're requiring them to know.
Right. So sometimes the issues basically become a growing experience for you and your company.
Yeah. And just, I guess, just remember all the issues. They're yours anyway, so you might as well just suck them up and say, "Yeah, I did it." And
Right.
I think it means a lot to my general manager when I say, "Hey, man, I know this is my problem, but you know, unfortunately, you get to deal with it."
Right.
At least, at least it compartmentalizes. I think it puts it in a category for him where he can then process it his way. You
Right.
know, I don't want my people to do everything I do or do it my way. It's again, it's wacky. And you and I have talked about this, but I hope us shops can get to a point where we can talk confidentially within ourselves and say, hey man, I had this situation and I need some help right away. You know, we got anybody out there that can talk to me? You know, obviously not someone next door, not my competitor, but anyway,
No,
that's
that's
how
the
I feel about it.
yeah, that's the real truth right there. So I appreciate you bringing it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Like my buddy said in the old days, he goes, "This is like a bar fight. You just need some friends in the bar fight." And
Right.
I think I've got some good friends in the bar fight, and I think I've been a good friend in this bar fight, and I look forward to being that to many, many more people. I look forward to you and I helping people realize that they're not alone.
Absolutely. Well, that's epic. You know, it really is. That's the statement of the day. So
Let's end with that.
with that, Keith, happy 60th to you.
Yeah.
And we'll wrap up the RV Pro Talk for today. And yeah, great share. And I appreciate it. And we'll be talking at you soon.
All right. Take care, shops.
Thanks for listening to the RV Pro Talk podcast. Listen to our show on all streaming platforms and even YouTube. And if you have a question or need a referral, reach out to us. We're here to help.